Welcome to Pactium, Part 8. When in a position of unequal power, the teacher must strive to help the follower to grow as a fully realized image bearer and fight the desire to imprint their own thought, emotion, and volition on the other, even when it hurts. I want you to look at Ecclesiastes 8:9. Talks about a manager, a person in authority over someone else, who puts the other person first, even when it's inconvenient and perhaps even damages their goals or resources. So we're going to give three examples, and there's going to be a classroom hierarchy, a military or paramilitary hierarchy, and finally a family hierarchy, and try to apply this specifically, because if you don't have a nuanced interpretation, things would appear to contradict each other. A teacher's job is to teach young minds to think clearly and effectively, then to present them with facts and allow them to apply thinking strategies to facts and reach conclusions for themselves. To use a student's brain as a repository for your own opinions is selfish and wasteful. There's a little revelation God showed me maybe 10 years ago that's been of crucial use to me. Then maybe you can't see if you haven't studied both what the Word of God and what modern science have to say about child development. Something I call the 212 window. 2 being an age at which human beings seem to start paying attention, where the neurons seem to be firing enough to where they can understand something, they can pay attention and get something of what you're saying. I'm not saying your 2-year-old will understand the implications of the book War and Peace, but they will understand to some extent when you say this is wrong, this is right. You know, we follow God in this house. So, first of all, the first part of the 212 window is when you see a glimmer of understanding, your job is to proclaim things that you know to be true, the things that God has shown you to be true. Otherwise, you're being selfish. 12. The other part of the 212 window, giving about 10 years. Now, the Word of God says, raise up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's older, he won't depart from it. So I believe it's talking about the 212 window indirectly, because there's a point implied where they're no longer under your strict tutelage and will begin thinking for themselves and either choose the things that God used you to teach them, or they won't. But it says that God is promising that if you use that time period correctly, he's going to recall those things to their mind. Now, that time period, scientists tell us, a human child's brain is receptive to their parents telling them what they believe to be true. Meaning that their brain is actually quite pliable and they're psychologically prone to, well, if mom says it, dad says it, it's probably true, I want to believe it, okay? So, 12. There's an interesting, parallel between, if you look at the Old Testament, that's from where modern practitioners of Judaism get the idea of a bar mitzvah, a bat mitzvah, that you have a ceremony that creates a junior adult who has more responsibility, more autonomy. And modern science will tell you a very similar thing, that you wanted, it could have been expressed as rebellion, it doesn't always have to be, you wanted more freedom of autonomy, you wanted more self-determination, you wanted to make some choices about your eating and your sleeping and who you spend time with and your life goals. And a wise parent shifts roles from manager to mentor, maybe half and half, I don't know. But I mean, there's a lot less of, I'm telling you everything you should eat when you should go to bed, and more of a sense of, I'm hopefully put some wisdom in you and I can put some decisions in front of you and back off and watch what you do. And see that you're making good decisions. Or perhaps, that wasn't the best decision, let me coach you, I want to do this better next time. But you notice there's a change. So the two things that are very important, and this is a picture of anyone teaching anyone, is there's a stage where they're going to need more guidance, but you're even though the brain is open to being taught, you'd be wise to teach them the things that God says are true, and not just your own opinions, or even not even spice that with your own opinions. And also, when they begin to get a point where they don't need so much of your guidance, and they need somebody to act as a little bit of safety and security when they begin making their own decisions, and you become more of a mentor as opposed to a manager. You'd be wise not to reduce amounts, reduce the amount of control that you're trying to put on that student. Understand that you have a stewardship upon you to help them become a fully realized image bearer, a sentient image bearer who is fully developed in their God-given mind, fully developed in their God-given emotions, fully developed in their God-given will, and not just a reflection of yours. I've been in education one way or another for about 20 years, and my conviction has always been, if I ever talk about politics, I'm talking about how to analyze topics and talking about things from multiple perspectives. No student has ever guessed my political orientation, and I'm going to keep it that way because I believe that two bad things can happen. If the goal is individual spirit-led people making wise decisions, think about that. That's what you really want. That's what you really want, if you think about it. Then let's say there's students that admire me and want to be just like me, and they start voting like me. They're not thinking for themselves. Contrastingly, if there's students who don't like me and want to do the opposite of anything I do, they'll vote the opposite of me just for that reason. They're still not thinking for themselves. They're still not glorifying God with the mental faculties given to them. Still not glorifying God with the emotional faculties given to them. Still not glorifying God with the volitional capacities given to them. So, this is, I think, the application of Pactium to the hierarchical relationship that is necessary between a teacher and a student. But we're still avoiding implanting our thoughts and emotions and volition on them and trying our best to allow them to learn from us wisdom, but not be crafted into our way of thinking. If I have blessed you or encouraged you or equipped you in any fashion, please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, pray more and complain less.